Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. I am joining you live from the bubble, yes, I do apologize for having been out sick. I'm still homesick, but I'm not missing home because Zach's with me, the good Mr. Zach Pfeiffer. How you doing, Zach?
Hey, how's it going? A little lonely here, although Lindsay's here, but I'm not going to talk to her during the stream.
You know what? That's probably for the best.
For the best.
Yeah, it is. Although, maybe we'll have to get Lindsay on the show at some point. We are here today to discuss a super exciting topic, which is team events. Are they for you? What are they about? How do they work? And is it something you should be considering going to? That's going to be the main topic of the day. Of course, this is, as always, a discussion, not a lecture. So let us know in chat what you guys are thinking. Maybe we'll talk some hot grot kind of situation. A lot of exciting stuff going on. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and super chat. Let us know what you're thinking. And also, if you did enjoy this video, if you want to see more of this video, like and subscribe, comment down below, all that good stuff. With that, let's get into it. So, team events, are they for you? That is the question of the day, Zach. I think let's start off by talking about really what in the world they are, how they work. We recently went to a team event for Sigmar. We'll be talking a bit more about that event shortly, and we're going to kind of use it to contextualize. But this is something that actually isn't unique to 40K or Sigmar. It kind of exists across different genres and become very, very popular. So team events, what are they? Basically, are we playing on the same table? Like, how does this work, Zach?
Yeah, this was the first team event for you too, right, Adrian?
This was also my first team event, yeah.
Yeah, first team event for both of us. John is the guy we have that has had some experience with this. But prior to this, we were each in a group of 4 for Old Town Throwdown teams, this is the first year they did Old Town Throwdown teams. We'll chat a little bit about that amazing event. We went as a studio, me, John, Adrian, and Bridger. And each had to make our own faction, make our own list. And there were some list restrictions, like we couldn't share an endless spell.
Yeah.
We couldn't share...
no war scrolls in general.
No war scrolls at all,
right.
Actually. Or data, that'd be data sheets for 40K, right?
And this is common in 40K. Often you can't have 2 of the same faction, right? So you can't have 2 Harlequin players or Eldar books. Sometimes they open it up even a bit wider, like it's 1 per codex. Even if there's like sub armies within that, kind of depends on the event. But in this case, yeah, no shared war scrolls, which we kind of took it to the other than the cogs snafu, we took it to the extreme in the sense that we actually took 1 of each of the grand orders just to kind of play into the flavor, right?
Yeah, which I think was cool. And once you're there, you get paired up against another team. For those not familiar how it works, you get paired up against another team, and then there's sort of this like fun game mechanic almost that we sicked Bridger on this. He was good at this. He insisted all of his Marvel Snap playing made him extra good at this. He did do a good job all weekend. He was pretty good at it. Where I'll try to explain in brief how this works. Adrian, let me know if I get anything wrong.
For sure.
4 cards with people's names on them and the factions.
Yep.
We start, each team puts 1 out, flips it. Okay. Next, we look at that. So let's say we put John out. Flip John. Okay, John's name is out there. Then we put 2 more cards out and flip them at the same time. Right? And then
just turn up
one of those. Then each team gets to pick which one of those people plays the first card they put out.
Yeah, so each team puts out 1 like Vanguard, and then the other team puts out 2 options, and the single person gets to pick between those 2, right? What happens after that kind of depends event to event, and I think we had it wrong when we first read the packet.
Yeah, and our first team also had it wrong. The real Tabletop Titans, we just all did it that way. In fact, I don't think it was until our 3rd game that we found out
there was some confusion.
We were doing it wrong. Our first 2 teams, our opponents were doing it the same wrong way we were.
Yeah, basically, yeah. In 40, I don't know how in Sigmar how common it is to have teams of 4. In 40K, it's often teams of 5, and so you have a couple like rounds of like putting someone forwards and then picking what's there. The way it worked in this event in particular is basically you put up the 1, they put up the 2, and then you kind of pick between that, and that determines the rest of the matchups. You like the leftovers fight the leftovers. The people that choose to fight the specific opponents get to fight that. So it's interesting because we're not fighting on the same table. We then go play our individual matchups. We come back at the end of the round, and you could have lost your individual game, but your team could win for the round. Of course, it could be vice versa. You could win your game, and your team still loses. But it's interesting because there's this meta play of like deciding who do you put forwards, looking at the teams, like who has a good matchup into what. You're trying to get good matchups, they're trying to get good matchups, and it creates this interesting kind of environment that's totally different than playing like in a singles event. It's super interesting.
I guess aside from the nitty-gritty of how it works, one of my questions, I guess, would be, do we think that the level of goofiness, now for a lot of you guys, actually, you and John, this was also your first Sigmar competitive event. So I guess I'm almost putting this question out there, probably as the person that can answer it the most, which is that this was a goofy event. It was fun and silly.
Yeah.
Sigmar events, from my understanding and from John's perspective, are a little more goofier than or lighter than 40K events. And I think that's what you would want to ask yourself is, are you going to this event with your team to try to win or not and just have fun? But at the same time, that's not different than a question you would ask yourself when you go to a normal event.
No,
right?
100%. I think that's a good point. Like and I have heard the same thing, that it is a bit, if not more lighthearted, the stakes feel a little bit lower. Again, in the sense that if you lose, your team can still win, all that stuff. Whereas singles, like as soon as you lost a game, like you could win the whole event after still having lost games, which the winning team actually did. So it feels more lighthearted. But you do need to ask yourself that question, and you also, on the flip side, need to ask yourself: are you okay putting your fate in your teammates' hands? And if you're in the right mind space, I think it's a ton of fun. It's very interesting. And you kind of just go with the flow. It's funny. John went in with the very unhealthy mindset. It's good to set your expectation, but he was like, guys, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to lose every game. Just put me in. I'll tank for you. And we're like, no, you can do this, John. Like, you got this.
Yeah.
Then guess what? He did, as well as...
He did go 0-5.
Oh, okay. Right. But he did his job.
What's that?
He did his job, though.
He did his job, and he was saying to me that he felt like he really learned Soul Blight great after, which is great.
Yeah.
For me it was interesting. I've been going to a lot of Sigmar GTs and RTTs. I've been going to events with these guys in SoCal. The SoCal Sigmar community is amazing. Super jealous of those guys down there. To the extent that I make it down there 3 or 4 times a year at this point.
Yeah, totally.
And I think the event felt a little bit different. But honestly, I don't think it felt that much different than, like, for instance, I went to Old Town Throwdown back in August. This is Old Town Throwdown teams. Same event, both run by Thomas Gareth. We've talked about him before. Amazing dude. Recently actually featured on Warhammer Community as like one of their hobby awesome people. That's not what they call it, but
yeah, honestly, anyway, shout out to Tom for running an amazing event. It was really good.
I think, like, I would say everybody should go to a team events. It doesn't seem like there's that many, but you should try it. Everybody, I strongly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. You bond with your team a little bit more. We also had the awesome experience of driving down in one car and back up together.
That was amazing. Fun. We make a thing of it, right? And generally speaking, you also play next to each other too. You're either in a row all next to each other playing your games, or you're like in a grouping, and so you're kind of like chatting with each other at the same time. So we've got Max in chat saying, talking about a bad experience, trying to take something fun to a team event, tag team event, getting shut out every game. Yeah, no, I think it's worth noting it's still a competitive event. When we say lighthearted, it's still going to be people bringing nasty lists. It's going to be still the gameplay can still be very intense, but the atmosphere is going to be much more light. But yeah, 100%. It's still not like a, to use again a term that we all know Zach hates, beer and pretzels game. It's not like take a fun kind of narrative army or whatever. So if you're looking for that, probably not the thing for you. If you're looking for a competitive event with friends, then that's more up your alley. So I'm sorry you had that experience, Max, but I'm also glad you brought it up because it's good to talk about what the event is not. It is still quite competitive, I would say, 100%.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
And you sorry, last thing to Adrian's point, you can't, what you guys did there was cool. You can't count on other teams to do that too, right? You can't count on every team to have 2 people that took fun lists and 2 people that took more competitive lists.
Yeah.
And will match up.
Yeah, 100%. So let us know what you guys think about team events. What we want to do also is dive a bit into the trip and talk about our experience. We'll talk a bit more about team events themselves. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and start off with this.
Okay.
So maybe do you want to, I have more pictures of this team, Zach. So let's come back to this in just a moment.
Okay, we'll come back to this.
I wanted to start by talking about the real Tabletop Titans.
Yeah. So Adrian and I were having breakfast at the hotel, and this was a great venue, by the way. It's just a nice little hotel. It's a nice little Hampton Inn by Hilton in Irvine, Spectrum, Forest Glen, something like that.
Yeah.
Really nice little place. We stayed there, so we didn't leave this building all weekend pretty much. That's not exactly true. But right in this area, there's awesome food next door. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
We're downstairs eating the breakfast. Decent hotel breakfast, by the way. We're down there eating the breakfast, and I see my friend Josh, who I've gotten the opportunity to meet and interact with every time I go down there. And he comes by, and he's got that wig on that you can see the person mirroring Adrian. And he's like, "Hi, guys." And I'm like, "Hey, Adrian, this is my friend Josh." And Adrian's like, "Hey, Josh, nice to meet you." And Josh is being super weird.
Yeah.
Then it started to dawn on me that he was pretending to be Adrian. And later on, we found the rest of this team also pretending to be our doppelgangers.
It was amazing.
And so in this picture here, we're actually mirrored, everybody. You can see John there is mirroring Aman, who about his height as well. They're about the same height.
Yeah.
Anime shirt, knit cap. And you've got
he dyed his hair black to match John's too. You see his black hair in this picture? That's not his natural hair color.
Oh.
Dedication.
Okay, and then there's also Leland, who wore the stupid shirt that Bridger always wears on stream.
Yep.
And then you have, I think
Asia's amazing. Oh my god.
Asia, and she wore this beard and an apron and a flannel shirt.
So good.
It was pretty great.
It was so good.
We don't really look that much alike, as you guys can tell, but we do have pretty much the same hair.
It's absolutely amazing. And it's funny because we weren't very good tournament attendees. We didn't really read. Well, that's not true. I remember looking at the packet and seeing that there's a theme, and I was like, "Oh, cool! People are going to bring themed armies." No, apparently this means themed costumes, themed army list, composite, everything themed. So we come down in the morning to breakfast, and we see some friends of ours and kind of dressed a little bit strange, and they speaking strange. I was like, that's weird. Whatever. They're maybe doing a little bit of bit, and then we meet Josh and I'm not connecting the dots. He's got this wig, which in hindsight looks very much like a wig. It's clearly not real.
You haven't met him previously. He normally has a shaved.
He's bald.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I thought he was one of those people that dyes their hair black, the kind of emo style. It's clearly dyed black, and I was like, oh, interesting person. Nice shirt though. And then Zach's like, yeah, he doesn't normally have hair. I was like, what? And he came back and we put it together. Yeah, this is in fact this is their theme. And we got paired up with them round 1, Tabletop Titans versus the real Tabletop Titans. It was amazing. Yep. And Josh goes, hey, if you guys are cool with it, we just want to fight our doppelgangers. And we're like, let's go. Winners get to stay on the channel. Losers stay in Irvine. Let's go. It was so cool. Really, really cool, fun group of people. Just absolutely amazing, and the themes were also amazing. We'll talk more about that as we continue in. So, the real tabletop titans. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah,
Honestly, really cool group of people.
it was fun.
It was amazing. So you played Asia round one. We're not going to go into too much detail for on all the
Oh, let's
matchups, I
not.
will say, but we'll go through the pictures, and if you want to, comment, Zach, feel free.
No, I had a great game with Asia. It was kind of fun. We both realized a couple things that we were probably doing wrong with our army, and we're able to like help be like, oh wait, that works this way, or you can do this, and we're like, oh okay, so that was kind of cool. Because she also played daughters, so it was
Yeah,
daughters on
mirror
daughters,
match.
and yeah, and that matchup always I think just she played great, but it just comes down to as more witch elves, and I had 60 at this event. But it was a super fun game. She's a great opponent. Yeah, I'm excited to hopefully get to play her again down there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. And hey, delayed shout out to Carl for gifting 5 tabletop memberships. Thank you so much, Carl. Greatly appreciate it. And welcome to the 5 new members. Um, and then while we're on it, thank you, Chris DV, for the super chat. Team events might not be for you, but War Bear is for everyone.
War Bear.
War Bear, that's for everyone. That's in your heart,
That is
in your home. Thank you so much, Chris, as always. All right, let's take a look. So this is round 3,
This
2.
is round 3.
Round 3. Oh, because round 2 was here.
Was Cody.
Yeah, super fun
Yeah,
game.
these guys went on to win best theme, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. I also had a great game with Cody.
Yeah, I got some picks.
I lost this game. I've been stuck in 3-2. I finally got out of a 3-2 rut by going 2-3. All of my losses were like so close, and then just turned into me getting like wiped off the board.
Yeah,
It was like one or two things happened, like, oh, now I'm dead. It was like a knife's edge. Cody was a great opponent, and we had a super fun game as well.
So much fun.
And then my round 3 opponent was Shane. These guys actually won first place. This was
Great players here.
in the entire event. They were good. I had a good close game with him as well until it wasn't. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It feels good. It's like going okay, and then just now I'm dead. It's my first time playing the new Disciples of Zinch book, and those guys aren't messing around. But again, super fun opponent. Shane,
100%.
cool guy. Glad to get
Super
to
cool.
meet him.
This is my boy Joe. So Joe
Yeah.
is a friend of mine who's from my Sigmar group when we played every single week in Oakland at Endgame before they closed. And Joe has since moved away. So it was super cool seeing my friend and got to play Zach in the final round.
Yeah, this is very cool. He had Deepkin. Deepkin daughters games always go down to like there's like 3 elves left on the board at the end.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened here. Again, same thing. It was so gritty and it was so close. And then I looked down. I was like, oh, I actually won't have any models left next turn. I think you got it, dude. So super cool guy, super chill dude. Hope he makes it out to some more events. I know that's a bit of a hike. Yeah.
It's a little bit, yeah, from Ohio.
Yeah.
They were Princess Bride themed, and they had all these Brute Squad shirts. So amazing reference if you get it. This was round before, actually, I think, right? This is round 4.
This was actually it was his birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was playing Old Slaves of Darkness because the new book wasn't in use here at this tournament. And oh my God, like he's like, this isn't my normal army. The guys made me play this. And he just sent like these like Vanguard in the old book are just like 2-ups, re-rolling 1s, but they do like almost no damage and they just sit there. So the whole battle was like just witch elves like slowly killing Vanguard in the middle of the board.
Oh my God,
super great dude. Happy birthday to him. It was his birthday. There was a couple birthdays. And he was a great opponent. Yeah.
So cool. Happy birthday, Matt. Much appreciated. Question from Michael Cody. Why were the scores so lopsided? It was always something like 800 to 19. So that is kind of to do with Sigmar scoring. 40K actually used to do this before things got standardized. Basically, a win was like 500 points or something. It gives you a big chunk of points, but it basically puts you in a certain bracket. And then the tiny points are all like your battle tactics, basically your secondaries and stuff like that. So the win gives you the hundreds of points just to like clearly knock you into a certain like win or loss bracket, and then the minutia kind of gets sorted out from there. So it's basically just a way to sort the scores. Good question.
Yeah, and a second, a little bit deeper into that, Michael Cody. Adrian's all on board, all on point with that. But the other thing that matters is in Sigmar, ties are very hard to accomplish, but minor wins and minor losses are much happen more than you would think because, in 40K where you're going up to about 100, in Sigmar you're really only going up to about 20, 25, maybe 30, depending on the mission. And it's very easy to just for two good players to keep pace all game long with each other. And so then if the points are the same, you go to 2 layers of tiebreakers. And once you go to those layers of tiebreakers, you are now getting either a minor win or a minor loss. And that gives you like 250 some points. So it does help break people out of that. If you only get a minor win, you're going to be out of that top bracket. That's kind of why they do that, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Another picture with Asia. I'm annoyed I didn't get one with Josh. I'm always like in the moment, and I'm so bad about pictures. So that's a few pictures. We've got some more here. This is my game against Josh with his Flesh Eater Courts. Super fun game. Just like absolute, just bash in the middle. He had some bad luck as far as spell casting goes. I was playing Beast of Chaos, which actually is a pretty tough matchup for him because I can kind of screen and kill things. So super fun game. Cool board too. Definitely want to get some of this terrain. There's all the Zangors versus all the ghouls. So this was this was the team that we were talking about. They ended up winning the best theme prize. Nothing but a glorified cruise. They were like very much like kind of East Coast mobsters. They're all part of a family. They in front of before each game they would bring out like a box of chocolates that were in the shape of like big cigars. And they would like offer you the cigar before the game, and they're like the cards that we'd use to kind of do the different matchups were all these like mug shots basically, and they were like totally in theme the entire weekend. I don't know how they kept up the energy. This is of course the face-off. Bridger, as Zach mentioned, was always like our guy. He's the guy that does the wheeling and dealing, sitting in there and kind of putting cards forward. So pretty epic shot. You can see they're playing a little intimidation on him, but Bridger, not to be intimidated. This is an amazing shot.
Yeah.
The consideration.
Yeah. So this was Alex and Nick Gonzalez. You see right there in the middle. They're brothers. I've played both of them. Super cool dudes.
Absolutely. Friends of ours.
You already saw Cody, who I played. And then
there was Ben. Yeah.
Ben in the back there, to Alex's or to Nick's left there. And I said this on Sigmar on Monday, and I said it at the event. All 4 of these guys did an amazing job.
Yes.
They all kind of leaned into their personalities a little bit. Because Cody, I think, is a bit of a quieter dude, and so they had him be like the quieter dude. And what I said about Ben is, my mom's side of the family is East Coast Italian Americans, and Ben really nailed just like the stupid little things my uncles thought were funny. So like, the one thing was he kept saying irregardless.
Oh yeah, irregardless.
Irregardless. And then the other thing he would do is like if somebody said a word, he would like repeat a nearby word as like a statement, as if it was a joke. So like Nidus Path is one of the missions, and he was like, "Oh, Midas Path, touch," or something like that.
This
like,
guy's got the Midas touch. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right. It's like it's not funny, but it is funny now. And he was amazing at that.
Ben was like,
he like
uncanny.
Really
Yeah, even just the way he would like sit with his like cigar and like pose, and like it was so funny. So super fun. And hey, shout out to Meg for gifting 5 gifted memberships. I don't know if you know Meg, but gifted memberships is a great way to support the channel. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Meg.
Let's see. Moving right along. Oh, sorry. More games. This was my game against Alex. Korn versus Beast Chaos. Super fun. He had these awesome. These are his Centaurs, actually. Zach, you haven't seen this.
Oh no!
So
these are cool.
Alex is like known mostly as a death guy. As long as I've known him, he's always been death. He played Necrons in 40K, and so he's playing something a bit different. But he had these awesome conversions for his Centaurs, which was super sick. Back to that one, and then just some final pictures. This is Marvel Snap.
This is a good one.
This is the plague that entered our lives over the course of this weekend. Is Zach and I were introduced to Marvel Snap, and look. Many hours We're lost. It's good actually because there's a lot of downtime. You know, you're like in the hotel and stuff like that, and you're waiting. And I swear, everyone at this event was also playing Marvel Snap.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Just like Bridger would just see somebody. Bridger's like looking at. I guess Bridger looks at people's phones, and
he's a phone
actually
looker.
really,
Be warned.
he's what?
He's a phone looker.
He's a phone. He looks at people. Whatever you're doing on your phone, he'll look. I didn't think Bridger like is so nonchalant and cares about so little. I was shocked to find that he's a guy that like looks at people's phones.
The funniest thing was like, oh, sorry.
No, he was like, oh, I saw this guy was playing Marvel Snap. Oh, and I walked up to him and was like, hey, see, you're playing Marvel Snap. He's not unabashed about it too. Like,
completely unabashed. Like we were the first night we had dinner and we're like, let's go like say hi to the guys before and like they're getting drinks somewhere. And Bridger was like, oh, I'm just gonna like ask them about Marvel Snap, and they're like, no, you're not. It's so awkward. Don't do that. And then we go in and we like grab a table, we're talking, and like Bridger's like on Marvel Snap, and like someone comes over, Maxwell, a super nice guy, and Bridger just turns to him, he goes, have you heard of Marvel Snap? Just like unabashed, just like goes straight in. I'm like, oh my god, I love you. I don't know how you do it. You're an animal.
Mormon going around on a bicycle, right? They're just like,
yeah,
we got to do it. We got to go up to every house and knock. We got to try. Bridger's like, I got to try. I got to see if they play Marvel Snap.
How will you know? Exactly. This was John's last opponent from the Princess Bride team. I just love this glitter. I took this picture mostly for Mel, I'll be honest. Super cool.
Yeah, on the Cape of the War Song
revenant.
Glitter, and I really like this.
Super awesome. This was my last opponent. We played Zinch. I had an absolute blast. It was so fun. It was a complete, just rollicking laugh of a game. Super fast paced. He had a very complicated army, but he was like super good with it. I had no chance in this game, and I had an amazing time. I went, Jack went 2 and 3. I myself went 1 and 4. So, we had a great time. We sadly, I think this next picture, lost out on the wooden spoon by 1 slot, and I'm very sad about it. We were second to last place. Look how these would be so cool to have up in the studio.
They're good wooden spoons.
I know.
Tom is. There's Tom. Actually, you can see him. He's second on the right.
Yeah.
That's Tom. No, is that Tom?
That's Tom. Yeah. Second from the right.
Okay.
It's Tom.
Okay. Yeah. He just throws great events. And they seem low effort. They're not, but like he makes it seem easy. Like they're not. When you get in, they're not like real hands on. He's not doing a lot of hands on stuff. He just kind of sets it up and lets it go, and it's a good vibe. It's great. Yeah.
Oh yeah. To clarify, if anyone's not familiar, wooden spoon, traditionally a prize given to the team or the person usually in last place. It's kind of consolation prize. Sometimes you jokingly get like a box for like a different game system or whatever. Sort of like, it's not really a way to poke fun at the person, but to kind of like celebrate the fact that they're still there, because it's the person in last place that also didn't drop, which is important. And so, team event, yes, they do get to keep the spoons, Michael Cody. So, you know what, Zach, maybe next year, if you didn't win twice the number of games that I won, then maybe we would have been a better spot.
It's true.
So much fun. This is out of order. This was the team that ended up winning, that we played round 4. So, some more amazing costumes.
Yeah, Bridger, worth pointing out, this guy on the left is Aaron Newbaum. He's actually, according to Wohammer, 9th best Sigmar player in the world right now. Aaron and Bridger got to play, and Aaron said it was just a really close game.
Cool.
He was nervous, and Aaron's all things orc. So right now he's even playing Cruel Boys.
Heck yeah.
And there's Shane on the right, and then there's Matt Nguyen, who's just a character. Just love being around Matt whenever I go to SoCal.
So much fun. Absolute blast. And there we are.
Marvel Snap, nice.
More Marvel Snap. Yeah, exactly.
Appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. So that is it for the event there. If you guys have questions about the team events, I'm seeing some questions come on in, so we can maybe chat about those before we move on to the other segments.
Yeah, these are a couple of good questions. I forget how we say this person's name. This came up. It's Frederick, I think. It's not Bridger.
Or is it Patrick?
No, I think it's Frederick.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm saying it wrong.
I remember this person.
Yes, yes. And thank you, by the way, because a big supporter of the show.
Yeah.
We've seen you popping in recently, and we really appreciate it. This is a great question. How do you deal with getting roll on floor laughing stomped 3 games in a row, and there is 2 games left on the weekend, and all you want to do is go home? This
Great
is a great
question.
question. This is a great question. So you lose your first 3 games, and you don't want to come back for the next 2 games on Sunday. Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. Adrian probably will have a different take on me than this, but I think I'm not going to sit here and say that you're obligated to go back for those last 2 games. I'm going to tell you that, look, if you're not having fun and you look and you're like, I don't know, this is probably only going to get worse, then yeah, I don't know, stay home. But before you make that decision, keep in mind that the way most GTs are set up is that you should be getting closer and closer to playing somebody that you can beat every time you lose.
Exactly.
This is almost always what happens to me. It's why I keep going 3-2. I win, then I lose, then maybe I win again. Then I lose a couple. Then I start winning again. I usually lose like my middle games. Then that puts me back down, and I come back up. Right? It's almost like going underwater a little bit, then coming back up because of the matchups. So I would say keep that in mind. Like go into Sunday being like, look, I should be paired with other opponents who are 0-3.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the main thing that can keep you going is the pairings will get better. They will get more accurate. We'll play people that are in the same kind of bracket as you. I think we had some strangely difficult matchups. We ended up playing, as you said, the people came in third and people came in first, even up until the final round. That's not common. Part of that is a factor of like there's only so many teams, right? It's basically as if there was a tournament of like 10 people. So that's what happens. But when you go to a regular event, you will find people that are more suited to your level, to your play style, to your approach as you go on. And think about like what can you take out of those games. I know it's not easy. I totally get it. So that's what I would say. Zach knows I am against dropping. However, I will say at the end of day 1, before the start of day 2, that is the best time to drop. You're going to cause the minimal disruptions, the minimal buys. People will do it already. It's going to happen. So if you can just do that sooner than later, at the end of that first day, that's how you can do it with causing like the least issues to the event, and then they can repair and all that stuff. So I would say there's no dishonor in that, honestly. If you're just having a tough time, it is a game. You should be having fun, and at that point, it is not a bad place to do it. But maybe you're gonna have some good games, meet some good people, have a good time. I've definitely been there before, and you're like, okay, now I've reached the level of players that like match me. Like I was not prepared for those other players. Now we're gonna have a good close game or whatever,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
this is another good question.
yeah.
The Clayman says, Adrian, on Monday, Zach told me milk was more hydrating than water, completely ignoring the lactose intolerant. Why would he erase us like that?
Wow, Zach, this is hurtful.
I love how this style of question is addressed not to me but to you. Why would he erase us like that?
Why would he do us dirty like that? Zach, lactose intolerant people are people too, and there's a lot of us. I'll tell you that. You know how hard it is to find the lactose-free ice cream? Not because there's not many people that are lactose intolerant, but because so many people buy it. You gotta fight. Like fights break out in Safeway over that. Yeah.
Interesting. I actually think I heard a couple things about lactose intolerance. It's actually becoming less common. It's people are becoming more able to have lactose, which is kind of interesting. So it has a little bit to do with like globally speaking, a lot of countries just didn't drink milk, especially like in East Asia.
Yeah.
But they do now, more likely from younger age. So like you can keep up with it, I guess. Then I don't know exactly how this works.
So globally, it's increasing.
No, globally, lactose intolerance is decreasing.
People are becoming more tolerant of cows.
More tolerance. And more tolerance in general is good, including of lactose.
Yeah. I'm usually a fan of tolerance in the world.
Yeah, it's good. You're in this one regard, you're a little intolerant. Now, I will say this. I can make a actual in the US, there's this brand of milk called oh my God, what's it called? I can't remember now.
Lactaid?
No. Whole Oh my God, Meg, if you're in chat, Meg, what's that brand of milk we like?
This is a solo cam Zach kind of moment. Put you on
Yeah,
the spot.
Whole Life, I forget. And they actually, I've grabbed the lactose-free one before, and by accident because the labeling is very close. And I've grabbed the lactose-free one before and basically not noticed it. It's like this ultra filtered milk. Somebody in the U.S. is going to know. It's like in a red bottle for the whole milk and like a blue bottle for the 2%. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it has less sugar than normal milk and more protein. And I can't remember what it's called. Somebody tell me what this brand of milk is called. It's super good. And I've had the lactose-free milk, and I didn't even realize it was lactose-free. I was like, oh, okay.
Some of them are pretty good, and some of the ice creams are also pretty good, actually, surprisingly.
Fairlife. Yes, thank you, USC Denman.
Fairlife.
Fairlife. That's what it's called. And if you get there, I strongly recommend their lactose-free milk. However, also, if you're trying to stay hydrated at the Clavin and not use water, a couple things. First of all, as a human, as an adult, you should be able to hydrate yourself, no problem. If you can't, I know you can. I know you can do it.
I think most people are dehydrated, though. I will say, at any given time, I bet
which is embarrassing. Which is embarrassing for humans. It's embarrassing how bad we are at high. Like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep, or I'm not eating right.
Yeah.
Okay, but just not being hydrated is actually embarrassing. Like everybody, and I'm one of them, right? We should do it.
It's like a level up from breathing. We're pretty bad. We're like okay at breathing, but drinking water.
Yeah.
Tougher. It's tougher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that super chat.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that. I'm glad we've extended. I was looking back through the stream the other night, yesterday's Monday stream, and I was like, why did this come up? But I love that it did.
Now it's come up twice. I do hear a sound though, Zach. You know what that is? It's time for the Grognard Grumble. Let's go. So my grumble of the day, it's more of a personal issue. I don't think anyone else actually in the world has this complaint, but World Eaters, why so red?
Yeah.
So originally, their original colors were white with blue, which is cool. It's unique. Now they are red in like modern 40K, red with the gold, the brass, which looks cool. But my problem is, where's the blood? You can't see where the blood is. Like when you're trying to paint corn models and you want to make them all bloody with viscera and gore everywhere, like where is it? You can't even see it. What's up with that? And that was one of the cool things about the Horus Heresy era scheme is they were white so you can see it. And like there's such like amazing parts in like if you read the Horus Heresy books where they talk about just like Angron or even any World Eater just being completely drenched, like they're completely red, but it's all with blood, like just like just crazy amount of it's just disgusting, right? And it really like exemplifies this like World Eater mindset. It's just completely like over the top, like it's not even war, it's just butchery at that point, and that's really hard to convey on the model that's entirely red, which of course is partially the reason that they're entirely red, because they blood and all that stuff, but. That's my grumble. It's not really a big problem, but I am still trying to solve it because I do want to do blood on our World Eaters. And so that's my complaint. I don't come to you empty-handed though. I'm coming to you with solutions. I always believe in that. And so in my sickness, I've been here in my little bubble, literally feverishly painting stuff for the studio, including working on some prototypes of World Eaters. Zach actually hasn't seen these, so this will be a first time for him. So I've got a ton of the old Berserkers that actually Space Marine Jesse gave to me years and years ago. So I've been using those to kind of paint up and play with some schemes. And look, so much better in the white. I'm liking this scheme. I've seen a few really cool artists do this online where they'll do like red helmet, like red shoulder, maybe red knee pad, kind of in like an accent kind of color. But the rest of it is actually this white. And so for me, this is going to solve two problems, and you'll appreciate this, Zach. One, it's going to solve the red blood problem, but two, it's also going to help solve the trim problem. Because this scheme is all about like chipped paint and gore and like I'm gonna play with maybe some oil washes, do a bit of like that grimdark styling on top of it.
Yeah.
And trim's not really a factor in this scheme, so I'm a fan. I don't know. I'm curious what you think and let us know.
I like it. I like it. I think like you can actually not, if you can find other ways, you can not you can choose to not address the trim, and you can get a few colors on there. Otherwise, with weapons and guns, like melee weapons and guns, and you've got the gold on the helmet. I like it. I've often kind of wondered what it might look like in when you're like weathering with blood
Mm.
to show multiple layers in that, like, is there any kind of compellingness to getting like a brown in there somewhere? Because blood is all blood will eventually turn brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
really, World Eater's white armor, I imagine, would actually be stained brown. Now we're
Yeah.
not like, I'm not like, oh, it's got to look realistic type person.
No,
Whatever
100%.
looks good. But I would be curious what like some old blood.
Yeah, caked dry blood on top.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
for like recesses in the shoulder pads, like it got in there and they never cleaned it, and now there's that, could be interesting. But I do like this.
I 100% agree.
Um,
The kind of grime and grit is something that's really interesting to me as well, especially like on white. It's such a good canvas to be able to kind of really show that stuff. Um, so let's see. Christina, red is the best color, and I'll die on that hill. Look, that is actually a problem. Like, they look great in red. Red's an awesome color. I would love to paint them red, but I also want to do blood. So it's not for lack of love for red. I just want a different kind of red, and it's gory and wet and glossy. Need some dripping gore. Yep, 100%. I plan on doing. There's like you do it with like Elmer's glue, right? You can like pre-dry Elmer's glue. I even saw. I've done this a little bit on some of the Nurgle stuff. Is you can actually. I'm not necessarily recommending this because I don't know what the health effects are. Microwave drops of Elmer's glue, and then it starts to like form these like almost like coats, and you can kind of work with it, but it's kind of like fleshy, and you can put that on the model, and then like gore it up with like blood for the blood god.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Adrian Smart, famously, Zach, trees are also not brown.
Yes, that is true. Trees are not brown. Blood is ultimately not red.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so just some thoughts. I think I'm going to continue with this. I'm excited, and I want us to be ready for the World Eaters launch. I think I'm going to paint up even these old school guys. You can see on the top right, we have the kind of conversion from the Sigmar stuff, which looked great. I'm going to do some of those, but also like I have 60 of these old Berserkers. It feels like such a waste to just not use them. And they're going to look still cool on the table. So if it gets us 60 Berserkers on top of the new ones, then all the better,
Yeah, I agree. I'm doing the same thing with Slays of Darkness with the Knights and the Chaos Warriors. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
I know there's new ones, but we have these and they still look good, and you can paint them a little different. You can make it work.
Totally, 100%. Plastic cement, kind of saying, okay. Blue,
Cool.
yeah, teal is a good color as well. Big fan. I don't know if you could tell. What up, Liberty Fires?
Hello.
Well, that's my grumble. That's my complaint for today. But we also, of course, need to make some time for another very special segment. That's right, folks. It's time for Hot or Grot, and we're just kicking off. We're continuing to kick off the World Eaters train by talking about the Red Angel himself, Mr. Angron. We're here to talk about Angron, the new model, which we've seen for a few months now, but we haven't really chatted about him. I'll be honest, I was going to do Messinius for the Hot or Grot, but like, I don't know. I'm not super passionate about that. This one, passionate. I know Zach and I have different opinions on this. I'm curious what chat says. I've heard differing things. I'll kick it off. I like this model. I like it a lot. I think it's everything that we could ask for. I think there's not a ton of art on Angron other than like his head. And I think they nailed the head. They sort of lump like the loping kind of pose that he has as he's turned into this bloodthirster. Some people are going to tell you it looks too much like a bloodthirster. Well, I say, you know what, guys, he is a bloodthirster. And he's not a graceful being. And his knuckles should be buff. I think it's a fantastic model. So that's my case for this being hot. Zach, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I do not like this model. For me, he falls in a similar vein as the new Demon Prince.
Mm.
there's a derpiness to it I don't like. And I'll say a few things about this model I don't like. He's also got that, like, the armor is a little too busy, not in its design, which I like, but in its, like, assembly. There's, like, chunks of stuff everywhere. That I maybe could be okay with. But again, it's his face. I think I really want more horror out of some of my 40K. And my chaos. I think I want a little more existential horror, and I don't know what that means, but again, almost similar for as it meant for the Demon Prince. I wish he had like a mask, like a helmeted face mask
Right.
option. They want to show the face, they want to show the character, they want to, more Mortarion even, like you can barely get in there and see his face. They
Yeah.
want to do that, and I get it, but I just don't love this face.
So you've seen what's his name? Vashrak, the other guy, the new one that they showed with the wings, looks kind of like a demon prince.
Maybe not.
He's the forge-ish kind of guy. I think he is much more cosmic horror in the way that you're talking about, and he has these kind of like soulless eyes and the grill mouth and everything. It's much more dehumanized. So that
What's
might be
his Vash?
Vash. Is it Vashrak? I'm just got. Nope. I'm totally blanking. Chat will help me out.
Varric?
It's something with a V for sure.
No. Okay.
Chat will catch up.
Okay.
I know what you mean though, and this is similar to critiques I've heard people say. This is no Liberty Fire. That's the question. That's exactly what we're talking about. This guy is kind of cartoony. People have said it is kind of in this more this modern GW style where things are a bit more stylized, things are a bit more heroic scale, and I think that's true. I think it's fair. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I totally see what you guys are saying. Vashtor, that's the name. Thank you guys. Not Valrag.
I'll toss out peak horror that they nailed. It's from the Soulblight Gravelord line. I think he is from one of the Undercities games. And it's Gorslav the Gravekeeper. That model is just like so cool. And just like awesome. They just like nailed the horror. Okay, what's this guy's name?
Vashtor.
No. I'm hoping that is spelled like it sounds.
It is spelled the way it sounds.
Okay, Vashtor 40K model.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah. This guy. Oh yeah. This is like the Dark Mechanicus guy.
Yeah, he's the Dark Mechanics. He's not, but he is. That's the whole situation.
Yes, I do like this model significantly more.
Yeah, more in that kind of grim dark horror.
Oh yes, this is so cool. So I'm like having the hardest time getting a large picture of this thing.
No, you're good. Valrak is definitely angry beast from a dark place, Manchester. Harsh.
Oh my gosh, look at his eyes.
He's freaky.
This is cool.
He's very freaky.
I want this head for my Slaves of Darkness Demon Prince.
Yeah, that's what I want. Two of the Vashtor model. I want one to actually make Vashtor, and I want one to just convert for all the bits. Mel wants the wings. They're so good.
Hammer is cool. Yeah, this is an amazing model.
Yeah, he's super hot.
I've not really looked at him until now. I've seen him in glancing, but never really looked, and this is great.
Totally. And I think he is a little goofy, but again, I think it's by design. Angron, kind of the goofiest of the Primarchs. He couldn't even conquer his own world. He's the only Primarch to not conquer his own world. And so this is just like the story of Angron is actually very sad. It's a really sad story. And I kind of love it for that. So it's like, look at what this, literally this person that was literally called the Red Angel has become. And I'm into it. I don't know. But I think your points are totally valid. I'm going to go ahead and start putting up the poll, guys. Remember, you can't change your vote once it's in there. So think very carefully about...
Think carefully, guys. This stuff matters.
Yeah.
We need to know.
Wait, this is important. I'm putting in all caps because it's the Angron vote. Hot or garot? No mop hot today.
Yeah, I am. I'm in chat as Zach, so I'm gonna go ahead and vote even.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well I'm gonna vote
Oh,
as Tabletop Titans. Actually, I
do
can't.
it.
Dang it, it won't let me.
You can't vote in your poll.
It won't let me vote in my own poll. Get your votes in.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I look, all of these Primarch models when they come out are it's everyone that ever comes out, everyone's gonna have a really strong opinion on, right?
Yeah.
The guy we just Vastor or whatever, like he's new, right? Like maybe he was in a Black Live, but nobody knows Vastor, right?
No,
We
yeah.
all know Angron. We've all thought about what we think Angron should look like. It's always going to be tough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody, like for me, when I picture Fulgrim, I'm basically picturing Shadow Queen Marathi. Like I hope his bottom part is tail, and then he's got wings
Right.
and a
Hopefully.
sword.
That's the
What?
thing. When it's like you're exactly right. When we have these things in
Right.
mind, they almost in some cases can't help but disappoint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was not disappointed by Magnus, or Gilliman.
Yeah.
Has there been another there? There hasn't been another Primarch yet, right?
That is it. And three, this is three traded Primarchs, only one loyalist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to toot my horn, get on my soapbox about the fact that like the next loyalist Primarch cannot just be like a Gilliman, just stand there kind of model. He's got to be like in a suit or on a bike or like something more epic than Gilliman's a great model. He's great, but that's what Horus Heresy is for. Like we need the big epic centerpiece
Yeah.
models for 40K.
I think like everybody, I think like if you had to guess, I feel like most people are like thinking it's going to be like a cool Vulcan model, like the big hammer and fire everywhere.
That'd be great. Exactly.
But again, we're thinking like, this is what that should look like, and he might just be like a fire monster when he comes out.
He's a fire monster would be cool.
Fire monster would be cool too, as long as the face isn't derpy. That keeps getting me is just the faces on some of these things. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, and I know GW has their own aesthetic on those, but they don't like. I like the avatar of Kane's face; it looks super cool.
I mean, I think, but here's the thing. Like I said, like there's so little artwork on Angron, and the little artwork that we do have in demon form does match this art, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, I get it. I think the first thing they could do to make this more horror, it's classic horror move: get rid of the eyes, cover up the eyes, get rid of the eyes. You go classic alien look, immediately more horror and like cosmic horror.
Literally, the two models I just pointed out that look awesome hard. The guy we just looked at, the Dark Mechanica Sky,
Yeah.
crazy weird eyes.
Yeah.
And then Gorslav the Gatekeeper, no eyes. He's got like a helmet on
Yeah.
that comes down to here.
Yeah,
right?
it's a classic move. It's the Urukai, it's the mouth of Sauron. It's classic. You want to make someone feel alien and scary? Cover up their eyes. Because even though these are like big monster eyes, we look at that and we see the soft, kind soul that we know exists in there.
A little bit.
He
right?
just has nails in his brain and wants to kill people. That's all.
Yeah. Here's the other thing they could have done: get rid of the jaw.
Get rid of the jaw. So he's just like,
No jaw. Yeah.
that would be spooky. That would be disturbing.
Oh no! See what you're doing. You still have a jaw.
No, I imagine I can't take off my jaw, Zach.
I know.
Where's my
No,
green?
don't do that.
What about like this?
Yes, spooky. That's a spooky Adrian right there. Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what Angron should have looked
I scared
like.
myself a little bit there, I'll be honest. That was pretty spooky. All right, guys, we're going to be ending the vote momentarily, so get your final call in. I'm liking all the discussion in chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dorn writing the Void Dragon, Lion writing a Juggernaut. These are all great ideas. Anakin. Hold on. Interesting. I like it. And if you guys have any final questions, we are going to be closing it out soon. So get your opinion heard. Ancient red dragon with heart. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to add. So when I was thinking about this white color scheme, my one concern was when I paint named characters, I usually like to have them match the lore. I don't really do alternate color schemes, even though I did on my Mortarion. But you look at this guy, and he's all in the brass armor. So we can do the white scheme and have him be totally like canon, and matching the armor at the same time. It's all brass armor, which I thought was an interesting choice. I like it. I think it's cool. Because I'm on board for brass, just not red armor. Like here, red skin, red armor. What's up with that? That's why my corn demons are also they're also pale skin, so they can have the red armor, give that contrast.
Yeah, I like it. And the brass is cool. I do agree with you. It'd be cool if World Eaters leaned more into the brass. Or not cool, but I think that would be another approach other than the white, is to just have them be very brassy. The Chris TV says Chamber from X-Men doesn't have a jaw. Thanks, Chris.
It's true.
Well, look, if Chamber from X-Men, I'm not even gonna look him up because I will eventually see him on Marvel Snap.
Marvel Snap. Oh man.
Oh yeah, that's no jaw. Chris was right.
Chris is right. And then you'll know. All right, I'm ending the poll. 71% of people can confirm Angron is hot, not grot. And I do acknowledge there's some differentiation as far as like people are largely you're talking about the model, not the rules. And more on that later when the book fully comes out. We'll maybe return to Hotter Grot Rules Edition at the time. So, thank you, Andy B, for the kind words about the Corn Demons. Look, we're gonna start taking some final questions. If you guys have any, we're gonna be closing it out. I, funny enough, don't see a stream for Liam today. I messaged him. But correct me if I'm wrong. Usually we like to drop the kids off with Liam before we go. But there's lots of amazing Warhammer coming around on Wednesday. This time seems to be peak time for people streaming. Let's start talking about what's coming up soon on the channel. Again, apologies for all the plagues of Nurgle. I have been and still am under the weather, and we're also trying to be extra sensitive. The studio is getting ready to close for the holidays. After next week, we will be closed fully for about a week. And so we're trying to be cognitive of people traveling, going to see loved ones, especially older loved ones or anyone who might be immunocompromised. So we're trying to be extra careful in this time of sickness. So tomorrow we do have a stream, rain or shine, whether I'm there, whether I'm not, we will have a stream. It's going to be awesome. Definitely tune in. It's going to be a ton of fun. No Friday show this week, right, Zach?
Correct.
Saturday, we will be back, though. Again, rain or shine, with me or without me. It's going to be Custodes versus Craftworld Eldar. This is a bit of a Sanguinalia edition of Nice Boys Meaningless. John is going to be gone for the holidays, so, we're running the show. It's going to be Bridger versus myself or Bridger versus Zach, depending on how I'm at the time. Again, trying to play it a bit safe, so hopefully you guys are understanding about that and hope you're staying safe as well yourself. We're getting a slew of gifted memberships. Do you want to take this, Zach?
Yeah, thanks, Liberty Fires, as always. We really appreciate it. Your ongoing support. Big supporter of the channel, big supporter of weird questions. We like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Liberty Fires.
And thank you, Siaf. There's a number of ways I could try to pronounce this name.
Yeah.
Of on rice could be one.
Yeah.
Siaf on rice. I could just put all the syllables together. Regardless, two things. One, gifted 5 memberships. As always, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Earlier, I saw you asked, have I been drinking? The answer, of course, is yes, but not today so far. So this is just normal me.
Just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
He actually becomes, very straight-buttoned. It's very strange. His hair just, straightens out, gets all, gelled back. Suits comes on. It's crazy, man.
Yep.
Okay, so Liam is away. Okay. Wow, Liam didn't tell me. That's fair. We kind of canceled last week's show without telling him. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for the love and support. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. Zach, as always, thank you for hosting. This has been a really fun, good talk. And as always, guys, be safe out there.
Wait, Adrian. When this show ends right now, what's going to happen? It's just are you going to be gone from the studio? You've been in here now for 2 hours just talking.
Yeah. You're going to be gone? Am I going to disapparate from you physically?
Well, no, I'm used to the show ends and then you and I are okay, so blah, blah, blah.
I know, right?
It's just going to, I'm just going to get up.
Yeah, I guess so. You're just going to have to live your life and figure it out. Oh, that does remind me though. There is life after Zach, after Adrian. Tonight on Magic Titans, we are playing. So if you're into that kind of thing, do tune in. It's going to be me, Brian, Shane, and Bridger, as always, playing some fun decks. And hey, it's another remote show that I can do. So definitely join us for that.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you.
killing it. We'll catch you all next time on the tabletop. Bye.